There it is. Okay, so I wanted to talk about, you guys took some notes last class. Today I'm going to have you guys actually work on it. This should be review. It is from 8th grade material. Basically, guys, Pythagoras found out that if you had a right triangle like this and you were to create or draw squares on each of the sides of the triangle, the area of the two legs, those two areas would add up to give you the third area, which is the hypotenuse, side C. Now, C is always going to be the longest side. That's how you always know what it should be. And then also, it will, if you have a picture, it should be directly across from the 90 degrees. So that would be the hypotenuse right here. Now, I want to go over these two examples. Okay, so like for this one, basically if I was to draw a square here, a 5 by 5 square, I would have an area of 25. That's what the formula is saying here. So I just literally get these numbers and I put it into the equation. So I'm going to get the 5 and I'm going to say, okay, 5 squared, which is here, plus the 12 squared, and then that's going to equal the third side squared. So I will go ahead and use my calculator. I do 5 squared, which is 5 times 5, 25. Then I do 12 squared, which gives me 144. And then I can go ahead and add those, and I get 169 equals c squared. Now, the opposite of an exponent like this is the square root or a radical. So think of those like opposite operations. So if I get the square root of both sides, I end up with c is equal to 13. That is when you have both legs given instead of and you're trying to find the hypotenuse. Now in example 2, they gave you the hypotenuse. You had to try and find A and B. So let's talk about how this one looks a little bit different. Now again, how do I know that this is the hypotenuse that's given to me? If I find the 90 degrees and it goes straight across from it, that's the hypotenuse given there. So I set it up the same way. A squared plus B squared equals C squared, and I put in what I know. So A is 9 squared. I don't know B, so that's going to be B squared. And I do know C is 15. So I go ahead and start solving like an algebra equation. 9 squared gives me 81. 15 squared is 225. Now, if you notice in the other one, so if I go back to this, we were adding the A and the B and then getting the square root. Well, for this one, because we don't know B, we're going to have to solve this as like an algebra problem, and this is a positive 81. So I can subtract 81 from both sides, and I end up with B squared is equal to 144. Now I can get the square root from both sides, and I get that B is equal to 2. Okay, please make sure you have both of those examples in your notes, and I'm going to go ahead and explain what we're going to be doing in class today. Okay, so as you know, I am at a training today. All new tech teachers are. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing on the agenda. So you guys, at the beginning of the video, I put a little like notes, going over the notes from last class. You guys are going to be working on Pythagorean theorem coloring activity, which I went ahead and left for the sub. It looks like this. Okay, and you're basically going to be solving these, all of these actually, but make sure you pay close attention to, guys, which ones are you going to be like doing where they give you A and B, and then like the example 2 where they give you C and you have to subtract it. Make sure you pay close attention to that. Then the bottom ones, you have to draw a picture before you can figure out like how to solve it, okay? And then on the back of these pages is a coloring activity. So basically, if you solve the first one, okay, once I'm done solving, I need to find my answer down here. You will be rounding to the nearest tenth, which means one number right after the decimal. Okay, so once you rounded, you should be able to do it. And just so you know, the first one is definitely dark blue. So if you don't get dark blue, we did it wrong. So number 1, you solve it, and then you go ahead and color in all the ones dark blue. Okay, and then after that, when you're done with that, the sub, I did leave a key with a sub, so if you want to like check your answers before you color it, or as you go, if you want to be checking, that's fine. When you're done with that, I left a quizzes that basically covers all these kinds of questions. Yes, it is for a grade, so make sure you get this first before you do the quizzes. If you get a 70 or above on the quizzes, then I have left a Pythagorean stack activity for you. And basically, guys, this is kind of like a puzzle, okay? The way you solve this is you try to find a triangle that you can already solve for one of the sides. So I'm going to give you a hint, and I think it's this one, yeah. You have enough information to solve for, is it that one? No, sorry, it's this one. I couldn't find it. It's this one right here. You have enough information because you have a leg and you have the hypotenuse to find this side. Okay, so if I find this side, then I'm going to be able to find this plus this to find this whole side length. Okay, and then I'm able to keep on going, and then I can use the Pythagorean theorem to find what this whole side length needs to be, and because this little thing is 12, then that I'm able to subtract and find this side length. So it kind of starts stacking up. As you solve one, it helps you solve the rest of them, and the final question is how long is this whole side? This whole side. So if you did all of these correctly, the final answer should be correct. Okay, this one will not be homework. The one that I definitely will make homework is the coloring activity. This, you may or may not get to it. It just depends on whether you did good on the quizzes or not, if you're ready for it. If you're not ready for it, oh, by the way, you're working with a shoulder partner on this, I forgot to say. So this is not for you, like individual copies, okay? You're going to work with your shoulder partner. You're going to do all your math in your notebook, okay? I will be asking you for that. But as you're working together and you're finding the answers, then you can go ahead and start filling out the sides that you're finding with your partner, okay? And that's it, guys. I will see you next week. I'm sorry I had to be out twice this week. Hopefully my son won't get sick anymore, and I shall see you next week, okay? Bye, guys.